I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby! Come on! Let's go!
How have I been this successful in life?
How have you been that successful in life, Lance, when you don't show up? It's embarrassing. He's a part-time employee at this point. We said it last week. It continues. Not showing up, not collecting the big paycheck that we're all here to get. We're back for another week of the MMA analysis, folks. Wes, go ahead.
Man even said he was going to be here this week. Literally, this morning, he was going to be here.
Yeah, he said, I felt like it was more than the normal. Yeah, it was more percentage than the normal, but not that much.
I mean,
normal's like what, 25% now?
20.
When he's giving us golf winners, I'll let it slide. But when he keeps
I know
giving us seconds, he's got to do something.
He's got to get on the pod.
I love I bet on this guy that hates to win. That's my favorite.
Yeah. What I like is I'm like, Lance, how much of a chance has Fleetwood got? He's like, dude hates to win. So of course he doesn't win. And what does Lance do? We go in on him again.
Got him this weekend.
He was like, the model stacks up. Lance and a model. Like, shut the fuck up, Lance. Models are for nerds. I know you've said that to me before. You had to.
Oh,
I know. He is definitely shit on some people for seeing models and and he referred to it.
Except for MMA, I mean, you can have an algorithm. It's different than a model.
Hey,
but it works.
The T's fucking model hit last night a little bit. I'll give him props when they're due. 1 out of 72 nights isn't bad for the teeth.
I mean, we can't get him. We can't let him get fired for how bad he is. You got to have those, once every couple of weeks. You got to win some money.
You don't look like Minty, bro. So you better have a couple winning nights. You ain't looking like Minty. Not happening.
Speaking of last night, oh my goodness. British MMA, cancel it. It's in the worst place ever. This dude is the second coming.
They make this man plus 400. A wrestler with some power from Safe Saud's fucking gym against this fucking Englishman. They're hyping up like biggest fate. That was pretty hilarious. That was nice.
It was a good. And Connor goes, I don't know. I didn't watch Tough West. Oh shit, I froze. Oh, there we go. We're back.
There he is.
Sean's just completely uninterested in the talk about Contender Series and Tough. McGregor goes, what, 1-7 or something? In Tough?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good. 7. Not good.
He's trying to claim Katona now. Apparently, that is his boy in regular world, but Tough world. I will say just about that show. Could you imagine going on and being those guys and like you look over at Chandler's gym and you got Robert Drysdale and fucking Bader and all these guys over there training you. And you look over and Connor's literally just showing them movement with snap the knuckles and just rolling out in a Lamborghini and leaving them, not showing up to weigh-ins and shit. Could you imagine like, no wonder they went 1 and fucking whatever they went.
It was the old back in our day. That was the Shamrock Tito season where Shamrock was having them like, I don't know, fight alligators and all the shit that he used to do with his guys back in the 80s. And Tito's actually training his guys. That's
it matters.
The sport
turns
out.
Shaun,
how are you doing? You're back home. You're not on the road anymore.
Back home, yes, for a week or so. Good. Just continue to lose massive amounts of money betting MMA. So that's par for the course. We've had a solid 7 months. Might as well make it a year. That seems to be the way it's going right now. But we're trying to make back a chunk this week. It's gonna be fun.
As long as your plus units at the end of the lifetime, that's all that matters. It's the only package that matters.
Still 1-0 in lifetimes.
Yeah,
still 1-0 in lifetimes.
That is the key. Anyways, we'll get to last week's card, and then we've got a pay-per-view. I, fellas, was on the road last weekend. So we took the old RV out. So perfect night, very clear night for the meteor shower that rolled through, and so many of us live in cities and can't actually see, but that was pretty cool. So I didn't see much of the fights. So recap's going to be real quick. I still did my fair share of losing, though, so don't worry about that. But we're going to go through all the prelims here and then move on to, I don't know if it's a good pay-per-view, but it's a damn interesting one. So I guess that kind of makes it good. Anyway, kicked it off. Women's flyweight division, Luana Santos, TKO in the first round over Juliana Miller, Damon Blackshear, Twister in round 1 over Jose Johnson. I chickened out and didn't actually play him, and that was dumb. He's fighting again this week, so good for him. 2 wins in a week, perhaps. Difficult matchup this week. We'll get to that. Women's strawweight division, 3rd round TKO for Jacqueline Amorim against the Monster Rat. I didn't see it. I assume it was all 13 minutes of scarf hold for the Monster Rat before she got reversed and taken out. Heavyweight division, Martin. Oh, really? Martin Budai takes out Carbo Parisian. I think he's going to have to go the Dukakis route. The big Dukakis route. And instead of being Carbo Parisian, he's going to be Keto Parisian.
Yes,
get down to
there
205,
and then lose.
Trim. Then, yes, also lose. Probably in the exact same way he lost at heavyweight. Because if you're getting submitted there, that is not a good sign. What else we got? Isaac the Bulgarian, 1st round TKO over Francis Marshall because his nickname is so awful. Terrence McKinney, 1st round TKO over Mike Breeden. Nice. Marcus McGee, 1st round KO against JP Bates. I heard a rumor that some people were stupid enough to put money on JP Bates. Shaun, thoughts on those?
Prelims are fun, man. That's what happens when there's all finishes. Because, I mean, if we're going to watch low-level shit, at least do something cool and knock somebody out or submit them. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool to see a Twister. Only 3rd time in the UFC. That's wild shit.
Korean Zombie was the first. What was the other one?
Bryce
like
Mitchell.
Ryan Hall?
Mitchell.
No, it's Bryce Mitchell.
I knew it was some grappling.
The hillbilly.
Some redneck fucking idiot.
Yeah, sad. Carbo really let us down. We were so close to that decision prop hitting. So I said it on Twitter. Terrence McKinney reminds me of Alex Hernandez. He absolutely crushes guys that he fights on late notice and lower level guys. And then if you step up to decent, then he's probably not that good, because if he doesn't finish you in a couple of minutes, it's over. But he was fighting a shitty guy.
Stealing my bits, Shaun. I said that on the podcast last week.
I know.
Did they brought in?
He gave you credit.
Did you put money on it like a smart
I don't
person?
see. I did actually. Specifically the round 1 TKO.
Oh,
very nice.
That's a little nicer than what I played.
I couldn't be perfectly aligned with the sun would explode.
Well, yeah, that's like
maybe.
your bankroll would explode.
Yes.
More like it. Yeah. I like the dude that follows me. It's Shaun. Dude's got like 5 followers. He's cool and all. He tweets me literally every card, and I'll reply back a little bit. But he's literally trolled Shaun for about a month now.
That's okay. I deserve it. Hey, I have thick skin. I'm not gonna cry.
Same.
Believe me, I'm aware of how bad I've been. It's quite enjoyable to find out each week how am I gonna lose. Sometimes it's really simple. Other times it takes a lot. More on that in the co-main of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I still think you're less worse this year than you were good last year. So,
it's close.
it's
getting close.
It's close.
You
Shaun
can
was
win
really
every
good,
event,
man.
and
Hey,
you'll be
like
good.
I
Shaun was
said,
really
we're
good
getting
last year.
we're getting back a chunk this Saturday. You can guarantee it.
There's been some that like I was on both of them too. Like I was on what's his name? They got fucking subbed in the third last week. Who the fuck was that we
Bullfrog. That was
Bullfrog.
yeah,
consensus.
I
Yeah.
was heavy on Bullfrog. I was heavy on this fucking co-main too.
Like I said.
Yeah, I'll the only thing about the chick fight is I discovered Luna's Instagram for about 10 minutes and
Smart.
It was
Smart.
not bad. Yeah, Blackshear Twister. That's always cool, man. We'll get into his fight this weekend. Yeah, our boy Carbo, man. I don't even know if that was ever had a chance. Like usually you're like, man, if that got out of the first, it probably had a chance. I don't think that ever had a chance.
When you're getting out grappled by Martin
Yeah.
Budai, you gotta hang it up, bro.
and even when Budai just would land once on him, he was like stunned a bunch of times. And I was like, fuck, he's actually getting hurt by these shitty punches. It's over. It's bad. Yeah, I don't know about the Bulgarian. McKinney is fucking fun as hell, man. Put this guy like Bellator squash matches get a bad rap. Like we just talked about how fun these prelims were. You know why they were fun? Because it was dudes that were just better than their competition and they smoked them.
Yeah.
So we all had a fun time leading up to the main card. Bellator gets a horrible rap with that. They put their prospects against fucking bums. They let them show out. And it's a good time. Like that's what McKinney got. McKinney, anytime he steps up, I don't think he's got the cardio. He's got a very questionable chin. Whenever he gets cracked, he's usually in trouble. So, yeah, JP Baez, my God, man, that dude literally might have the worst chin one of the worst chins we've ever seen at 135. That low of a weight class. Like anytime that man's been hit clean, he's been knocked out in the UFC. It just hasn't mattered who it is. Like what Cody Durden knocked him out. Am I remembering that right? Like. Everybody's knocked that guy out. Yeah, so yeah, fun fights. Prelims were awesome.
In Bellator's defense, I would rather watch half of fights be complete squash matches where somebody does something cool than half of the UFC fights that are between two fighters that I couldn't pick out of a line to save my life and who are completely unmemorable.
It's to the point to where it's like two white guys look like creative fighter off of the UFC video game. They're literally equally matched. They both do the same fucking thing, and it's a stalemate draw. They go to a decision. You flip a coin. If you bet on the wrong side, you're pissed off. You never want to see them again. That's literally half of the UFC fights now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way to describe it. With that, we'll move on to the main card. Josh Fremd, Mr. Turtleneck, unanimous decision over Jamie Pickett. Half right there. I liked the over. I didn't. Pickett didn't win the decision though. Chickened out again. AJ Dobson decision over Teflon. We talked about how Mark Coleman there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he? I never heard him, so
I
he
feel
probably
like
would.
if he was there, you would know.
It was in the. You would know if he was in the Apex.
I don't think he was there. Yeah.
But spurred on by the spirit of Mark Coleman.
Spirit, yeah.
AJ Dobson gets the decision. And Yasmin Lucindo, second round arm triangle choke over Polyana Vienna. And I guess we'll do Khalil Roundtree because he knocked out the big medium Dukakis. Yeah, that chins. Whew.
Yeah,
he's got a. I don't know that you could say his chin's up there with like a JP Buys because he gets knocked out by big dudes.
Yeah,
but he gets hit clean. That's what happens.
Yeah. And when you're getting hit by guys that are 205 pounds, 250 pounds, it's different than 100. Yeah.
Shaun, thoughts on those?
Josh Fremd is just not good. He's not good. Fortunately for him, Jamie Pickett just doesn't do anything. Like like that could have been a close fight where Pickett had a chance. He just fucking didn't throw anything and just was cool, getting held up against the fence and doing nothing. It's fucking brutal. But yeah, Fremd's not good. He's not good. I don't care if he won 30-27. Yeah, the Dobson fight was fun. Lucindo. Polyana Viana is just terrible. Lucindo just showed that. It's not really anything more than that. And yeah, the Dukakis sub. He went for one takedown. That's all I asked for my hard-earned money. He went for one takedown, so I can't be too mad. It was that sub plus 1,600 was close.
One slip away, and it's over. Wes, go.
Jamie Pickett is one of the worthless motherfuckers that I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, look at the waste. Like, look at the waist of that guy. Look at his physical abilities and shit and stuff. And he just doesn't care. He just doesn't give a fuck. He could have won that fight if he wanted to. Friend is like really, really bad. Hopefully we get another plus 250, 300 with somebody that's wants to do anything, and they're gonna beat him. I got fight inside on the chick fight. I thought it was
nice.
Probably going to be Vienna that caught something stupid off of her back or something. Then who cares? I'll take the other side. We said it on the show. I have no clue why that fight was where it is. No idea why. They just want some chicks on there.
Did I see that she's already fighting again? She has
I don't know. I've been kind of MIA on keeping up with shit.
I don't know. So. I haven't heard that.
But I don't know if I was so much like I said on the show that I think Khalil Rountree's power is slightly overrated. I didn't say he didn't have like knockout power. I just said it was slightly overrated. I'm not necessarily coming back off that statement because it's who it is. I mean, that guy's chin is fucking shit. Like, you hit clean on him, he's going out. But I will say Roundtree looked like in insane shape. Stuffed the one takedown that Shaun talked about. Wasn't close. Like, shucked that dude off. Connected on him, knocked him the fuck out. Like, is Roundtree rounding into like a really good fighter in this division? Like,
if you stand up with him,
he's
in this division. If you stand up with him, he's gonna hit you. I mean, if you can grapple,
if he can shuck off takedowns, like, I mean, Dukakis has got decent like not great, they're decent. If he can keep fights on the feet, man, like he might be a fringe top 7-10 dude in this kind of weight class, man. It's not deep,
and there's not a lot of good grapplers either. Like,
doesn't have to worry about as much. Look at all those dudes that want to stand and leg kick.
What would you line a Jamal Hill Khalil Roundtree fight?
Like, I'm leaning probably Roundtree at this point. Like, I mean, just look at like, I mean, there's just a bunch of guys, even like Ankalaev and shit, wants to stand on his feet and leg kick. Like, you stuff one of Jan's takedowns. He's a fucking stand-up kickboxer, leg kicker. Like, all of them, none of them really grapple in the light heavyweight. I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? If the guy's got some decent takedown defense, he can crack.
At the same time, we are talking about the dude that somehow lost that fight to Marcin Prachnio.
Correct. This is the person we're talking about. I would hope we're gonna think before Prachnio or an after Prachnio, because he seems to have figured it out a bit more.
He does, yeah.
But that was not that long ago.
At one time, Roundtree was a complete.
He's a head case.
You never knew.
Yeah, he's like the only guy that's ever retired and come back and actually been worth a shit when he come back.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched him on even way back when he did his tough season, his whole time, man, he's been like, he's had a fucked up life and shit. He's been in and out of the sport, didn't really want to fight at times and shit. It looks like he's committed. If he is, like, we'll see.
Yep.
Very true. He still hasn't fought a grappler since he fought Gilabia. So
that dude, he'll stand and get knocked out now too. All of them at 205, man. Like,
yeah, it's a bad division, but it makes it kind of interesting in the way that it's bad.
Yep.
And also it means that anytime he wants, Glover can come back and win the title.
Anytime. Do you imagine the sadness that he would feel in his heart when he had to take down fucking Pereira and beat the shit out of him? Like, take him into the river and go to sleep.
Actually drown him this time.
Go to sleep, young son.
Good times. Anyway, Khalil Roundtree, light heavyweight contender, future champ. You heard it here first. Co-main event.
Whoa now.
Co-main event. Cub Swanson defeats Hakeem Dawodu. Decision. Shaun? Question marks?
That definitely happened. Look, it was a close fight, but
Clear.
I think it was also fairly easy to score. The judges obviously disagree. They did not see it that way. So,
bro, did you not see all of the damage at the end of the second round? There was so much damage. The damage and the impact, it outweighed everything else that happened in the round.
I mean, the funny thing is, 2 of the judges did give Dawodu those rounds. One didn't. And the funny thing is, they still lost with 2 of them giving him the second, and he still somehow lost unanimously. It's just nothing changes. Nothing changes.
So you obviously had a bet on Dawodu. Of
course I did. I had him with McKinney.
And I'm not saying that because you're complaining about the decision. It was
this is why he lost a fucking decision. That is why.
We're circling back to the start, folks. We're trying to keep things topical here. Wes, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this shit all the time, and I get that it's sort of subjective sometimes and stuff, but I think the whole world can watch certain fights and know who won the fight. That was one of them. It was close at times. We saw who did the damage, who won that fight. And I don't want to always say fighters think they have bad performances and shit. You could see it all over Cub's face. That dude knew that he got beat in that fight. He absolutely knew. He was shocked to get that. That dude was bawling his eyes out after that win because he knew he got handed one. Props to him for admitting it. I got total respect for Cub. And I know afterwards in his interview, he's like, well, my coaches were saying I probably won it and I need to go back and watch it. And I'm sure in a few days, Cub will come out and say, yeah, I probably won that fight on a rewatch. No, you did, bro. But man, we all can watch a fight like that and think we know who won. And man, I don't know. After multiple decades now watching combat sports and just fights in general, I feel like most of the time, I know I score rounds and shit favorably sometimes for my bets and shit, but for the most part, when a guy won or lost, a guy won or lost, and I just don't know. I don't know anymore. Maybe I don't know what I'm supposed to be watching anymore.
I think there is a decent case to be made for nobody can be this bad at watching the fight that we're watching and scoring it as poorly as people do. So they are legitimately, because of where they're sitting or that they only have that one angle or something like that, they're watching a different fight. And
that's true.
You have to take that into account if you're live betting or anything like that. If you see a competitive fight, and we talked to our buddy Aaron about this, if you see a competitive fight and it's plus 1,000, if you've got nothing else on that fight, probably good to take a shot.
These are darts that in the state of MMA, which is just this is always the state of MMA. It's probably not a bad idea to throw darts on somewhat close fights with odds that are that big.
I'm not talking the blowouts or anything like that.
No,
just
just competitive fights.
Yeah, my only statement to like exactly what Brad said, then we need to change it. Like if these dudes are
Put 'em in a
watching,
room.
if
Make
they
them
are
watch what we're
watching
watching.
they're apparently, and you're right, they're watching a different fight at a different angle in a live setting with a crowd and everything else. I get that, but they are getting fights wrong, like completely wrong, and changing the course of people's careers. Like there should be a change to that. Like if we're all literally everybody, every fucking media member, everybody on our timelines and in our group all see a fight the same way, then we're right. Like when it's collectively that many people that watch the same fight and all come to the same conclusion, but 3 dudes, then it needs to change, man. They're affecting people's money, their livelihoods. Like dudes are in there getting their brains bashed in for fucking 20 and 20. Like maybe you should get it right. Like Dawadu's not going to get his win bonus. Like he's not going to get a check after going in there and fucking winning a fight. His ranking,
we've
whatever.
Seen anything about that lawsuit, the antitrust thing that's come out about the UFC, they're not paying them out of the goodness of their hearts.
I hope that all these Zuffa zombie fucks and Dana White nutlickers go and read some of that. They won't, but I hope they do when they're still to this day like, oh, well, Dana's taking care of them in the back. No, they ain't. They are fucking corporate ghouls. They are holding on to every fucking penny they have. You think they're going to give? Shut up, man. Yeah, they're going and writing Connor a check. They're going to go write Bones a check or the upper echelon. But these fucking 15 and 15 dudes ain't getting some backroom fucking check and shit. Y'all people are out of y'all's minds, man. Liz Carmouche was driving a Hyundai, living in a fucking shack when she was fighting for a title. Like, there's numerous ones. Like, come on.
Yep. They're going to be getting 5 guys a week at from Contender Series, so I think that is going to lower the overall average pay as we continue.
Don't sell it short. I'm not sure it's going to stop at 5. I think you're going to start to see 6 and 7.
We're going to start seeing some. They're going to start signing losers. Are we signing up guys that lose but are in wars? Is that what's going to happen here?
That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, they're already doing it on short notice with those guys.
I do hope that this like changes something. I don't think it will. I think it's just going to cost them some money. Like they're going to have to pay out some kind of settlement to all of these fighters that are in the class action now, which it is a class action lawsuit now, which is like major shit. Yep. They're end up paying some kind of monetary fucking fine and shit and move on. There's nothing going to change.
My hope, that's pretty much exactly what's going to happen. But my hope is that there is enough money that they have to pay out to enough fighters that will be the opportunity that they can take to actually unionize. They won't, but that's my hope. I've said it for probably a decade now. The only way it ever changes is by government intervention. Yeah,
it's like laws. It's somebody telling them that they have to. There's no other way around it.
And
fighters ain't unionizing.
And Dana White and Ari Emanuel and all those dudes and on that literally pump big checks to Republican lawmakers to never ever change that shit down. Yep.
Fun times.
Don't pay your fighters. Let's pay the politicians. Great game we got in this country.
It's a long game.
Speaking of fun times, speaking of the long game, Vicente Luque been playing us all like fools. We just thought he was a brawler. Turns out he's a land prayer. Shaun, you bet RDA?
Of course. So I bet him a pretty good amount too. Yeah, I mean, I understand why Luque is doing what he's doing. We'll see if it lasts longer than one fight. But a brain bleed is probably a good wake-up call to maybe change your style if you can. And it worked out. We'll see if he resorts back. Selfishly, I hope he does, because that was a terrible thing to watch. RDA, that was... I expected more from him. I think he pushed the grappling too hard. I think he could have done okay in a mostly striking fight, and he was panic grappling, and he still was in the fight. So what can you do?
Wes?
Yeah, man, Luque, like one of my all-time favorite fighters. That was the most dreadful fight that he's ever been in. Like he's throughout his career been almost cagey, like just never in a dull fucking round. I mean, wasn't good for the guy's health. I give him that. He showed up, was smart. But Shaun's completely right. The commentary kept mentioning it where they was like, RDA must have a game plan and he's sticking to it. And I was like, yeah, he's sticking to it and it ain't fucking working, because he would initiate the grappling with fucking Luque, drive him to the cage. Luque would turn him and fucking grab his legs and immediately take him down. The size mattered. Like the size did make a difference in this fight. When Luque got RDA down and got on top of him, RDA couldn't do shit. He couldn't move. And that was pretty surprising to see. RDA's been like, not many times I can remember RDA like being outclassed as far as like making adjustments in a fight and shit. Like he just stuck to something that wasn't working. And the bad part was when they was in space a little bit and RDA was striking, he was landing. He was hitting Luque with like big punches and shit. And when he would land those, like Luque would come in and initiate like grappling and shit. Like they were counting and mattering. And he just wouldn't do it, man. Going in the third and fourth round, he would just go right in and grab a hold of Luque, get reversed and taken down. What can you do? Maybe Luque
almost like never realized that he stopped fighting Dizzy Pop. He was just like, I have to strike to get to this guy. And that's all my striking is for.
Yeah, it wasn't smart, and it was kind of weird to see RDA literally stick to something that wasn't working. He's usually a pretty smart fighter in there. It just wasn't working, and he kept going to it. I don't know if I necessarily want to see like smart and contain Luque a lot. Like he does. We was talking about it before show. He's got like I think he's got the most Diarse chokes in UFC history. They must be against bums way back that I can't really remember, because lately I remember, it was the Chiesa one that he pulled off, but man, that
Chiesa
grappling
and Woodley like back to back, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was because he was in firefights and going. They was
knocking
taking him
guys
down and shit. This lay on top and maybe get a sub at some point, Luque. Like, I don't know if that's ever going to get him anywhere. It's not going to get him any closer to a title shot. Like pre-Luque is what was going to get him to a title shot. And who knows, man? I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad he's winning, even though he cost me more money. Like, huge fan of Luque forever, and I'm glad the dude's all right.
And we just talked about like they are literally getting sued for how little they pay fighters. So do what you got to do to win the fight and get as much money as you can while you can.
Hated Sandhagen, but I respect what Sandhagen showed up and did against a fucking short notice opponent. Hurt, and he's like, I got to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that shit, man.
We'll still complain about it, but
of course.
I'm gonna bitch.
Anyways, that does it for last week. Moving on, UFC 292 coming up. Fun times. Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, main event.
Not my dog.
The fans just demanded it. O'Malley's resume speaks for itself. He had one win over a good guy that not a lot of people think he won.
Beating
a no contest, and then he beat a bunch of bums and lost to Marlon Vera. Second coming, right? We'll get there. I think we're all thinking the same thing on that one. Didn't work out so well last time, but history never repeats itself, right?
Never.
Also, second title fight on the cards, and then a bunch of other stuff. And we are going to start right at the bottom. Banger alert.
Banger. Women's
flyweight division. Marina Moroz, Silva. Karine? Is there like sometimes you throw in the extra vowel on the end? I don't know. Shaun, you probably know.
This is a rematch from 9 years ago.
Much anticipated.
Of course.
The fans were clamoring for it.
A decade in the making. Did they put that on the poster?
Of course. The first time they fought, Moroz won by armbar from kind of guard. So of course that was when she was running through her phase where she did that. She's kind of been going away from that because against terrible grapplers or mediocre grapplers, she actually takes them down. So she's not really getting arm bars from guard when you're on top. I think that might happen this fight. I think she might be able to get on top against Silva if Silva doesn't get her own armbar from guard. Moroz might win, and Moroz probably has the better stand up, but there's no chance I'm betting it because don't care enough. But I'll pick Moroz in Tilt Master.
Wesley,
look, a legit breakdown on the first fight of the night. That's a women's. That's bad.
And I'm gonna lie.
What show is this?
Shaun. I was reading the chat. There's the Tijuana tale.
I was going in on some Tijuana titty bar shit or something.
Good. I'm glad I didn't ruin this for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably pick Moroz, and I'm gonna look at under here inside the distance again. It kind of like the Polybiana fight from last week. I just think they're gonna get scrambly at some point, and some dumb shit's gonna get pulled off. So yeah, I kind of like the under. I think it's slight plus money.
What's Moroz by round one sub?
Oh,
plus 1,400. Perfect.
Bam, bam.
Done.
Yeah, there it is.
That's it. Don't even need to look. Women's flyweight division.
Back.
Just starting it off with a bang. Don't worry, folks. We've got apparently tough finals, but they just look like UFC prelims. Andrea Lee taking on Natalia Silva. Apparently, rumor on the street, Natalia Silva, future champ, next coming.
Of course.
She won one fight in the UFC?
I don't know about all that shit. I know Andrea Lee is terrible, and Silva seems to be okay. That's enough for me. I think Silva can get takedowns and smash Andrea Lee from top, or meet her on the feet with striking. So I put her in a parlay, a 1-unit parlay.
Okay. Something's starting to come to me. Wes, your breakdown?
There's no way I'm laying minus 300, 325 on Silva. But Andrea Lee sucks, but there's times where she can dirty some fights up and make them a little close. She's tough, usually stays in fights. So, I mean, I'm not betting her, but she's probably going to be a top master pick. I just can't see Silva being minus 300. Should win this fight though. Like she's pretty talented. She's more talented than Andrea Lee, but man, that line seems a little scary.
Pretty simple here. Women's fight decision props up over plus 400. Andrea Lee by decision. It's easy. It actually kind of makes sense in this spot.
Split.
I mean, look at these. I don't think it's out yet.
Split.
That'll be the one.
Split would be one to really.
It should be like
at
least a 12 or 16 or something like that.
That's
I'll
definitely
find it,
one I would look at.
But yeah, those are. She's actually fought good fighters. And the Natalia Silva is coming off of a win over Victoria Leonardo. And before that, she fought something called Teresa Bleda. So, like, she's not beating.
She's faced zero resistance. She's going to face at least some resistance here. That's for sure.
Yeah. The Jasmine win seems like it might be okay. Yeah. But she's Canadian, so it doesn't really count anyway. So it's Andrea Lee by decision. I'll find the split price as Shaun is breaking down the next fight, and we'll see what we got. Next fight, this should be awesome because it's the Meerschaert, and he's taking on Andre Petroski, who is known to do like physically impressive things and then completely gas and then somehow bounce back. So this fight should be pretty wacky. Shaun?
he's got that cardio that comes in waves, and sometimes he looks very, very dead, and all of a sudden he's still taking guys down and laying on them, and sometimes passing, and most of the time laying. The man has a gift. He is playing a bit into to Meerschart's game. He's gonna grapple likely, and that's what Meerschart wants, because if it's on the feet, then Meerschart's usually not doing well. Petroski is gonna have to be careful, because of course when he's gassed in the past, he's been able to take people down, but I don't think he's fought as good of guys that can snatch up necks like Meerschart. I just think Meerschart is taken a lot of damage, and he is going to take some damage because Petroski's going to get him down and smash him on the ground, and I just worry about that chin. It does get scary if he's able to survive and stuff some takedowns and force scrambles later in the second, but I think Petroski's going to get him out of there early.
I couldn't find the split price, so I was listening to you, Shaun. I disagree. Wes.
Yeah. Day one Petroski fan here. I've bet on him, made some money. The Maximoff money was just sweet. Look, he should win here, but I just feel like there's going to be some points to where he's in Meerschart's like only place where he's got chances. And look, Petroski does like go crazy in first rounds. If Meerschart survives that, the dude always gasses in the second. He looks like a zombie in the second. Always somehow fucking rebounds and looks like the fresher man in the third and wins fights like that. So, I mean, I'll probably pick Petroski to win here, but Meerschart round 2 and round 3 is like 700 and like 1200 or something. I think if you're looking at Meerschart, that's probably how you look at it. I don't think Meerschart's getting Petroski out of there in the first round. That dude's very, very dangerous and very good in the first round. So if Meerschart can survive that first, then I think things could get interesting. So I'm going to pick Petroski and maybe think about those props. I don't know. I'm a big Petroski fan. I think he should be able to get it done here, but it's going to be a little greasy in the second and third.
Meerschart all day.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be making some money on Saturday. You guys are in for a good night.
You know what happens when you dive into a Meerschart's burrow? You drown. They got like secret, agriculture, and that's not what I meant at all. They got water down there, little canals, aqueducts.
Little canals.
Anyway, irrigation. Why could I not think of the word irrigation? I'm getting dumb.
Getting
I think the early onset is taking me. I apologize, folks. Anyway, Meerschart struggles when guys have good takedown defense or significantly better wrestling than him and don't want to wrestle. Petroski wants to wrestle. He will wrestle anybody. So Meerschart's going to be dangerous early, but I think Petroski is good enough to stay out of that stuff. And then when he starts to get tired, he still wants to wrestle. And Meerschart's going to let him wrestle, but round 2 is when he's going to snatch up like a guillotine or, scramble and find his back. And that's when Meerschart's going to put him away. It's the old bait and cat. It's what he's done, made us a ton of money, going to continue to. I think I only see the round 2 prop 700 right now. I'll see if I can find the round 2 sub. It's got to be out there somewhere. It's only plus 950. So don't love it, but we're going to have a bet on a Meerschaert in some form or fashion come Saturday night. Tough bantamweights. What tough is this? 30 something? 20 something?
No.
40 something?
Could be.
A lot of them.
What? Okay. Anyway, Cody Gibson taking on Brad Katona because sure, why not?
But both of these fights is you actually think like, haven't we seen these before? You like sometime in the UFC, haven't we seen these fights?
This definitely happened at one point. Although, wasn't Brad Katona a 145er last time he was in the UFC? Or am I making that up?
I don't know because
he fought Moroz.
Oh yeah, maybe he was a 145er on Tough, and then 135, and now he was just 135 on Tough.
Could be.
I'm gonna say that's what happened. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, like you said, this could be any random fight. It doesn't really matter. That's a tough thing. I think all that does is lock you into a longer contract than maybe you would if you just signed with the UFC by yourself. So that's probably not a great thing. I'm picking Cody Gibson. I think he's decent. He's not Canadian, and that's all you really need.
Wesley.
Yeah, I lean Gibson here too because he's the underdog a lot. I think it's a close fight. Katona can be taken down, but I tell you what, man, watching that show, one thing that was good about watching Katona is on the fucking Connor fucking Irish yam fucking diet, like straight up. That dude is on some shit because he
give those folks one thing. They know their potatoes. They know how to get those yams.
They do grow a hella ground yam over there. That's for fucking sure. The guy's fucking jacked. Like he's a different dude physically. So that's one thing I think that could help him a little bit because I think Cody's going to try to get in close and try to grapple with him. So I do lean Cody as the dog here, but I don't know if I can bet it.
Looking at these guys' records recently, because I haven't watched a lot of these fights, I've seen a couple of them, but like Cody's beat Cisco Rivera and who was the John Dodson recently.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, Cody looked great on the show. Like Katona had a little bit of problem in his first fight. Like he got his nose busted open and shit, like got landed on. Cody absolutely dominated on her. So did the other two guys, but Cody looked really good on the show.
But at the same time, Katona got cut from the UFC after losing to Moroz and Hunter Azure, which are like two pretty decent losses. So it's actually a pretty decent fight. Like this should be the type of fight, I guess, that's on UFC prelims ahead of a lot of the stuff that is currently on UFC prelims.
They're UFC caliber guys. Like these are legitimately UFC caliber dudes.
Yeah. So cool. I'll take it to go to decision.
Smart.
More tough. This this is a Titan FC.
Always good when Steve's in chat. He gets some good laughs.
I was looking at the other screen, so otherwise that would have sent me over the edge. Lightweight. This is just for like the Titan FC title. Kurt Holobaugh taking on Austin Hubbard. Shaun, another very much UFC prelim fight.
Yeah. They're not contender series guys, so that's a plus these days, I guess, for the most part. Holobaugh recently, if he's not getting you out of there, he's losing. Hubbard's pretty hard to finish, so I think even if Holobaugh is going to win the first and have some success. I think Hubbard's going to be sticking around and probably winning the second and third. Haven't played anything. The over looks decent.
Wesley.
Yeah, both of these dudes look great on the show. I do lean Hubbard here. I think that Holobaugh's probably going to throw more early than him, but when Hubbard lands, Hubbard's going to land with a little bit bigger stuff. And I think Hubbard's just got the grappling advantage. Like he could take this to the mat. Holobaugh is susceptible to a takedown. Even Jason Knight got him down a little bit, but he was like right back up and was bombing on him. That was a hell of a fight. If you haven't seen it, like that's a tough fight worth watching. Just absolutely insane. But yeah, I think Holobaugh's going to throw a little more volume than Hubbard, but Hubbard's going to land the bigger stuff. And Hubbard's just got a grappling grinding advantage here. And I think he can use that to win. I really like the over. I jumped on the over when it opened at, I think it's minus 125, 127 or something like that. So I really like the over here. I think these dudes are going to go 15 minutes, and I think Hubbard can squeeze out the second and third round and get a win.
Yeah, I mostly like the over here. Both of like Hubbard's not a finisher to begin with, and he also is very tough to finish. And Holobaugh's the same in that he's tough to finish. He does get a lot of finishes on the regional scene against sort of lower level guys, but whenever he's come up to this level, he's always struggled to finish guys as well. And I don't think he's getting Hubbard out of there just because that dude has a block for a head. So yeah, over even at like, what's a decent price that's out there right now? Minus 145. Yeah, I think there's a minus 138, but not highly available.
Betway's not widely available to everybody, but it's in 138 range there, 140, 145.
Yeah, still like that. Wes got a good number. Now the fun begins. Middleweight division. Dennis Tiuliulin taking on Holobaugh 2, Electric Boogaloo, Gregory Rodrigues. Gregory Rodrigues. It would be inconsistent if I called him RoboCop and Rodrigues. So why would I call him Hobocop and Rodrigues? I mean, be cultured, people.
Come on.
Enough of this RoboCop bullshit. Shaun, what horrible things is he going to do? First to himself and his own health, and then to Tiuliulin.
This fight becomes a lot easier for the Hobocop if he takes this guy down and smashes him on the ground. Trusting Hobocop to do that is always a crapshoot. I think it might help if you believe he's going to grapple, that he did get knocked out last time. So maybe he will think better otherwise. Because if he takes this guy down, I think he smashes him. If he does not do that and wants to fuck around on the feet, this fight gets a lot closer. Not saying he gets blown out of the water. He's actually got okay striking and good power, but it just becomes a lot dicier.
You can get hit.
Because he is hittable, and that chin can only hold up to so much. I think he takes him down and smashes him. Maybe grabs a sub. Both those guys' losses in the UFC have been by sub. Hobocop might just smash him on the ground. So I got him in a parlay.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, Hobocop's a little dumb at times. Like, I mean, that fucking head split wide open, vein showing, artery showing. Yeah, I think he's going to take this guy down. I think Shaun's right. Coming off of getting knocked out, I think he's going to want to win here. And it's not like Hobocop takes a guy down and lays on him. Like, he takes a guy down and he tries to, intimidate the old jail man when he gets on top of a poor bastard on the mat. So I think he takes this guy down and smashes him. So I like Hobocop parlay piece. Inside the distance is getting you about $1 or so. I don't know. I might just take the money line. Who knows? So probably safer, but I think he gets him out of there.
Yeah, it's you can never feel great about the Hobocop, but I feel pretty good about the Hobocop in this one. This guy can't grapple. He's got power. I don't know that I would say that he's got good striking. I think Hobocop might actually be the better striker here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, defensively, he's always the worst striker, but everywhere else, he's better here. So yeah, I think he's got a lot of options. I don't know that I'm parlaying him at what minus 400 basically.
Getting there.
But I guess still 335 left. No,
I think I got like 318 or something.
Yeah.
What's Hobocop inside is basically what the point
it's
I'm
only $1 shorter.
It's like 210 though, or something like that. 215
minus 210.
Because this guy dies all the time against everyone that he faces.
Yeah.
So, and it's usually sub, which is very much in the cards here. But then you do have to rely on Hobocop to actually go for a sub. And he might just be like, no, I want to murder this man with my fists. So, yeah, maybe it is Hobocop moneyline, the best way to go. Brad Tavares fighting for all of Hawaii. But it's against the All-American Chris Weidman. So is that like Hawaii trying to secede? Are they blaming Biden for the fire? Did Biden start the fires with Jewish slaves?
No. It was Obama and Oprah Winfrey, so they could buy up all the land.
Gotcha.
There's one conspiracy
I'm sure
theory
that is legitimately out there.
It is. That's
it's
it. And there's one that Obama, everybody's shit burned, but Obama's, and they got pictures of him and Michelle sitting out on their land and shit, nothing burned, and people's like, yeah, that's because he's on a different island. You stupid motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't own any land on the island that burned. Fucking people are great, man.
Crazy. Anyway, Chris Weidman, title run.
One last time.
The fans are going to be convinced after this fight. They're going to believe that he can be a threat to Israel Adesanya. He said it himself, Shaun.
I believe him. You have to at this point. He's never said that before.
Ever.
Weird fight. I'm assuming Brad Tavares wins this fight. I don't know how. I don't know if he finishes the dude. Weidman is an absolute band-aid. So shit is obviously at a high percentage that will just fall apart on him, and he just loses from injury. But I don't really want to bet Brad Tavares because laying minus 270, 260, whatever it is, he's not great either, and he's getting old. Just got beat up pretty good. I just want to stay away. Hopefully Chris Weidman doesn't die in there. That's all I can say.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, Weidman's got like one win in almost 5 years against Omarion, who hasn't been in the UFC in like 3 years.
That dude jacked up 205er in PFL. What are you talking about? He's probably won like $17 million.
I mean, he had Weidman all sorts of trouble and that fight too. So like, look, I don't know the training videos of Weidman now. Like, I know he's coming off the broken leg, but that man went and got the good stem cells. He went and got the good TRT because he looks absolutely fucking humongous. So who knows, man? Even at a dog against Brad Tavares, I don't see how there's any way you trust Chris Weidman, man, off of a fucking dude was walking on his fucking ankle, you know, literally on his ankle bone. Hasn't won in fucking years. I don't know. I can't like lay minus 200 and something on Brad Tavares against almost anybody though. Like that dude's starting to look like he used to be on the gear because he's looking soft as hell lately. So I don't know, man. Just let them all do drugs so we at least know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
hell yeah.
Fuck all this guessing. Let us. I'm gonna pick Tavares though, but man, I want no part of this fight.
So we're talking about Weidman's last win being Omarion just over 3 years ago.
Yep.
Brad Tavares' last win is Omarion 2 years ago.
Hell yeah.
That's so good.
I'm gonna bet Weidman. They're begging me to do it. Brad Tavares. So we went through this last week. I didn't bet it. I probably rightly didn't bet it in Cub because I'm like, he's fighting a guy that doesn't do anything, but he's made a tape and bubble gum. Which one of these is going to come through? And it turns out it went one way, and I think like the same thing is going to happen here. Brad Tavares doesn't hurt people. So as long as Weidman's body can hold up for 15 minutes, I think he's the better fighter. He might struggle to get some takedowns, but he might just hold Tavares in the clinch. He's a way bigger dude. He's a better wrestler and win a boring 15 minutes. I think that is very possible. So we're going with Weidman. Might not be pretty, but plus 225, it's happening. Title run. Starts now.
Get it.
Moving on to the main card, bantamweight division. We alluded to this earlier. It feels like hours ago now, so we should probably speed things up. Mario Bautista, he's fun. Taking on Damon Blackshear, he seems like he is also fun in a different way. Shaun?
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, it's wild when a guy's gonna fight twice in 7 days. It's a lot harder to know what kind of performance those guys are gonna show up and deliver on that second fight, because it's another weight loss, and I don't know. It's lots of questions.
Question.
Batista's pretty good. Go ahead.
Is this actually at 135 again? Like he's cutting all the way down to bantamweight?
I didn't read where it was any like catch weight, so I'm not sure. Sometimes they don't announce that to like the day of weigh-ins. Sometimes
it's bantamweight. I mean, it says bantamweight.
MMA managers fucking suck. Wow.
Yeah,
at least give your guy like 5 pounds.
Yeah, 140. Yeah, they didn't. So I don't know. Maybe weight cuts aren't too bad for him.
They still might. Like, don't write it off, because I swear sometimes.
Yeah, he might just come in and miss weight or some shit like that.
Then they'll
contract the money instead of.
Yeah.
Well, no. Sometimes on short notice, like the day before, they'll announce like it's 140, or the day of weigh-ins, they'll be like, "This is a contracted 140."
That's if there's going to be a big miss. Usually.
Yeah, absolutely, and that could happen.
It could definitely happen.
Blackshear's not a small fucking 135.
No, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, that's definitely something to watch if you're looking to bet this fight. I think Mario Bautista is actually pretty good. So I think you got to pick him short notice, and he's just pretty good. So I'm staying away from betting it, but I think he wins.
Wesley?
Yeah, I like Bautista here. I think Batista's pretty damn good. I think Blackshear is probably going to end up trying to play on the mat a little bit at some point. I think Batista's better there than him. He's just more down there. I know Blackshear got the twister and all that, but it was against Jose fucking Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Bautista is really good on the mat. And yeah, like, even if this isn't at 135, it's 140. Like, Blackshear's a big fucking 135er, man. Like, that guy's got to go through at least a somewhat of a cut again. Like 7 days is crazy. I think that's going to be the shortest amount of time outside of a UFC tournament.
It ties the UFC record.
Yeah, Chimia was like 10 days or something.
Like that, yeah.
He's going to be
somebody else with 7.
Somebody else with 7. That's this day and age. That's kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? So I like Bautista here. I think you're actually getting a decent price on him. Blackshear's good. Don't get me wrong, but I just think all the circumstances considered, the matchup, I like Bautista.
Yeah, I think all things considered, I don't consider myself a huge Bautista fan, but I like him here. Blackshear's not a tremendous offensive wrestler. I think Bautista can stop those takedowns, maybe get some of his own because Blackshear wants to grapple. But on the feet, he's got a big advantage in this one. So yeah, I like Bautista. And then you factor in the second weight cut and all that sort of stuff. Blackshear, peaking twice in a week. That stuff usually doesn't work out so well for guys. And I think this is a case where because he won and it was really cool and it was 3 or 4 days ago, people are like, oh, this guy's good. I'm going to bet him. But I don't know that he's quite this good.
It was Jose fucking Johnson. Like,
yeah.
Dude, nobody's ever heard of Jose fucking Johnson, bro.
We saw him in his first 2 UFC fights. He lost.
Did we? I'm just saying, I can't fucking remember.
I do remember because one of them was against Whack-A-Mole, Meerschaert.
Oh, yeah.
And that dude's pretty good. And the first one was against the Yusuf Zoodles, the COVID hype machine. I actually, for some reason, do remember both of those fights. And he lost to those dudes. And I think Mario Bautista, maybe he's not better than Meerschaert, but he's definitely better than Yusuf Zalal. So, yeah, we'll maybe end up with a parlay piece here.
Gotten to the point to where I can't remember these guys' faces until Brad says their fucking nickname he's made up for them, and then it literally pops back in my head.
It's the mnemonic devices, right? Anyway, continuing on the main card in the bantamweight division, excellent fight. Pedro Munhoz taking on Marlon Chito Vera. Shaun.
Just so everybody knows, the fighter that has the record is Luque Godinez. Of course, everybody should remember that.
She was Canada. She was Canada both days.
Yeah.
What was that? 14 days or something like that? Or
no,
did
that
she
was
do it
7.
in 10?
She did in 7.
Oh, did she just fight twice or did she win twice?
No, she fought twice. She didn't win twice.
She was only Canada one of the days.
Blackshear would be absolutely the first
one where she lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a fun fight. I do think that Pedro Munhoz has the chin and the volume to make this a closer fight than what the odds say. Chito Vera a lot of times just doesn't throw as much as he should. Munhoz is a guy that throws a ton of volume, tons of leg kicks. I think he's decent enough that this becomes a close fight. I know he hasn't won many close fights in the past, and I think I've lost money all the time that he's lost those close ones. So might as well add another one. I got him at plus 187 for a unit.
Wesley.
Nice line. Yeah, I seem to always be on Pedro Munhoz. Really like the guy. Really like to bet on the guy. You usually know what you're going to get. Like Shaun said, just granite chin. He's going to fight for your money. He's plus 170 dog against Chris Gutierrez last time. Was rolling Sean O'Malley. Was rolling that guy. Like, we was going to hit a big one on Pedro Munhoz against the dude that's fighting for a title. Like, unfucking believable that happened. I think most did that he probably edged Dom. People that bet Dom, of course, don't think that. But I think Pedro Munhoz absolutely won that fight. But yeah, dude's always in it for your money here. And I think with the chin, the volume, I think he could put Vera in a tough spot here. And at that kind of price, like, I'm absolutely betting Pedro once again. Like, I'm on him every time. We always get good dog odds on him nowadays. So Shaun got an incredible line. I got around plus 165 or plus 170. I still like that as well. I think it's fairly close fight, but Pedro is going to probably land the bigger shit, and he's going to look decent in this fight, and he's going to win.
I'm not even convinced that Pedro is going to land the bigger stuff. I just think he's going to land so much more here that it's going to make it very difficult for Vera to win. At the best of times, Vera loses rounds and wins them based on big moments.
Yeah,
but if you're fighting a guy that you can never actually like rock, I'm not sure that the decent shots that he lands are going to be enough to outweigh all the leg kicks and all the stuff that Munhoz is landing on him. So Vera's a tough guy to bet against because he just like pulls shit out of nowhere. Either finishes or just rounds that he really shouldn't otherwise win. But man, these guys have kind of fought the same level of competition, had the same sort of success. So I'll take the dog. What do we have in terms of a decision price here? It's only like a little bit higher than the money line. So yeah, money line. Maybe he snatches up a guillotine. Finally uses his jiu-jitsu. That's not going to happen.
No. Man's turned into too good of a striker over the years to ever think about using that world-class jiu-jitsu he's had for his fucking entire life.
Welterweight division.
Makes Stowe Bronx different. Just makes Stowe Bronx different.
That's right. He didn't forget the streets. No. Everyone else forgot the streets.
You might leave the favela, but the favela never leaves you, bro.
That's right. Speaking of somebody who never leaves what's like the Russian word for favela? Nothing. Anyways, that's where Neil Magny's from. Magny Medov coming to an Irish fella near you.
An Irish fella? Oh, now.
You know, when this has happened in the past, and Magny fights a guy from somewhere else who maybe can grapple, maybe can't grapple. We don't know. We haven't seen it yet. Shaun, what normally happens? He's taking on Ian Garry, by the way.
In Magny's prime, what used to happen is he would use his grappling and grind on guys and eventually get guys down and just wear them out if he was able to survive early. I have questions about how far past his prime he is now for Magny. I lost some money on Phil Rowe last time. I think that he is definitely way more hittable than he used to be. And he doesn't seem to take punches as well as he used to be. He's never really taken punches well. Garry is definitely a fade. I just don't think it's this time. It could happen. I think Garry's striking is good. His offense is pretty damn good. It's always going to be that defense, and his grappling is probably going to get tested here a bit. But I think he stuffs some takedowns and knocks this dude out. If he doesn't, I can see Magny wearing on the dude, making him grapple, and who knows, maybe snatching up a sub early in the third after getting him down. So I was more looking at the under 2.5 or the doesn't go to decision. I see late stoppage for Magny or early for Garry. So I know it's almost even money at 2.5. I kind of don't think I wouldn't mind a couple extra minutes. So I might just parlay doesn't go.
Wesley.
In Garry is a minus 500 favorite, the biggest favorite on the entire card against fucking Magny Medov. look, Sean's right. This guy is a total fade. Like I think he's decent, but this guy's minus 500 against Neil Magny. Like coming off beating fucking Gabe Green and fucking Daniel Rodrigues and shit, like dudes that are like legitimate, turning into legitimate bums. They're like not that good. I'm never gonna forget Garry getting pieced up by the Insulin Kid. Never in my life. This man could go on to win the title, and I'm gonna be talking about Garry getting pieced up by the fucking Insulin Kid. Yeah, he catches these guys, and Shaun's right. Like Magny is a little bit more hittable now, which is a concern. But if you think this guy is a fade or a future fade, I mean, this is like the one guy you would take this kind of price on against, in my opinion. Like these are the dudes you want, dudes that's going to grind on him and grapple. And if he catches Magny, fucking catches him. Like you're laying minus 500 to see that. I'm going to get 400 to see if Magny can grind this guy. So yeah, I'm taking that. And I kind of disagree. I think if Garry wins, it's probably inside, but if Magny's winning this, it's by 15 minutes of dry humping fucking fun. And so Magny decision plus 800, Magny straight round plus 380, 390. Absolutely love it. Garry's a total fade. I don't see it. If I don't get him this week, I'm gonna get him soon.
It's your blind spot, Wes.
Could be. Could be. Maybe I'll change. Look, I did it with Derek Lewis. Did it with Derek Lewis.
You ain't changing.
I did it with Derek Lewis. I'll kick on the other side.
Garry.
I just don't like Garry. Like, I hate this little fucking piece of shit.
I don't know that I hate Garry as much as Wes, but like pretty much everything else he said. If you think that this dude is a fade at some point, how are you not taking almost plus 400 against Neil Magny, who has made an entire career about exposing dudes and hanging around in the UFC and only losing to top competition? Like Gilbert Burns, the Shave Cat, Chiesa back when that kind of meant something. And then like actual title contenders before that, Ponzi before whatever, what did he have? Like a giant staph infection or something like that or whatever. RDA, like he loses to very good fighters. So
and usually grapplers too, for the most part.
Yeah. So we'll see. He's a hard guy for strikers to get to, and that allows him to close the distance and get dirty and get in the clinch. And if he wins, it is going to be full Magny Medov. So we're doing at least a unit on the money line, half a unit on the decision, plus 800s. Just like old times, just like riding a bike.
Gotta hear that Nashville Magny Medov. Get that scream on the broadcast, baby.
That's right. We'll go back. I'll find the timestamp for the people. Women's Strawweight Championship co-main event. Weili Zhang taking on Amanda Lemos. Shaun.
Lemos has got power. That's what she has. I think for 115ers, she has power.
Yeah.
I think Weili is just going to grapple her and choke her out. Weili's been improving her grappling in a very big amount. She still's got good striking, but I think her big advantage here is going to be the grappling, and she's going to get Lemos down and probably sub her. So I have her in a parlay.
That always goes well. Wesley?
Yeah, it's me and Shaun should literally not even talk to each other for like the rest of the year. Like anything me and Shaun are both on, like y'all should be running to your fucking your book and laying it on the fades. I think when these two like touch up with each other, it's gonna be laughably how big the difference is in the power, the grappling, the strength there. I think Weili is absolutely gonna fucking take her down and eventually get a sub. I mean, Lemos might have some okay power, I guess, for 115 women, but Weili's got a chin and shit. She can strike. I don't really think this is too close. I just think this was the next person in line for her, and man, she's become a really good fighter. I think this is just a different level at this point. There's not many on Weili's level, so I like her. I got her parlayed as well. I hate laying minus 300 on any kind of women, but if you're gonna lay it on one, she's usually a pretty good one.
Agreed. I think that there is a significant separation, if not technically, then definitely physically in the women's strawweight division right now. Like
she's a tank. She's a fucking tank.
It's different with her fighting than with pretty much anybody else in that division. And as Wes said, I think that's going to show up pretty quickly in this fight. So I like Weili. I am also going to parlay her. Didn't really look at props too much. I'm not sure if she's just going to like overwhelm her and get a finish early, or if it's going to be wrestling for a couple rounds and finish in the middle, or a whole lot of that and the decision. So just money line here, and we move on. Main event, bantamweight division. So much lighter weight stuff on this card. It's going to be good.
It's good. It's good.
Sean O'Malley getting that title shot. The people demanded it. Taking on Aljamain Sterling. Shaun.
I would like to congratulate in advance Sean O'Malley for winning the bantamweight title, because I absolutely am hammering Aljamain Sterling. He is going to be able to grapple, and he is going to be able to choke this guy out or smash him on the ground. The grappling is going to be so massive. I know in strict grappling, supposedly O'Malley is okay, but this isn't straight grappling. Sterling is gonna dump him, and then it's gonna look like a man against a boy. Sterling is decent enough striking on the feet. I know O'Malley has a bit of power, but I think it's more of a precision thing where he does touch guys on the right spot, because I don't think a guy with that frame can have power. But what do I know? I just see Sterling he said exactly what he's going to do. He's going to just toss this guy all over the octagon. That's what he's going to do. He's not afraid to backpack a guy, to wear him out, and I don't think he's going to need to here. I just think he's going to dominate here. So I got Sterling with Petroski for a unit, Sterling with Silva for a unit, and with Rodrigues, Holobaugh for a unit, and with Zhang for a unit. I'm also going to be parlaying the under 4.5 or doesn't go to decision with Weili, as well as possibly with Garry and Magny under 2.5 or doesn't go. So I'm all in on Sterling getting a finish. So we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to be right.
Mm-hmm.
You're due.
Exactly.
Wesley.
Yeah, those stars are aligning for really good night or really bad night for the crew. I'm massive on Aljo here. This is going to be approaching like a bones level bet for me. Look, I mean, we just watched Aljo MMA grapple with a gold medalist, and however you think about how straight wrestling translates to MMA. We've seen how that gold medalist has translated his wrestling to MMA. He was a champion with that shit. And Aljo was getting the better of those situations. Imagine what happens when he wants to get a hold of Sean O'Malley. On the feet, yeah, it's a little bit more, I wouldn't even say worrisome, because Aljo's not horrible on the feet. What he does very well is he's all the way in or he's all the way out. He's all the way in getting a hold of you, taking you down, or he's all the way out kicking the fuck out of you. And we've already seen how Sean O'Malley takes fucking leg kicks. Aljo blasts insane leg kicks, body kicks. So I think he's fine on the feet as long as he doesn't start getting into some kind of fucking striking battle. And he's not going to do that. Aljo is a very, very smart fighter. Like Shaun said, he's already said, I'm taking this guy down. I'm going to smack. He will. He's going to get takedowns here. And this is just another level. Aljo is insane on the mat. He is an insane grappler. He will take a backpack and he'll go for subs. He'll try to get you out of there. So, I mean, if people seen the training videos of Aljo, man, the dude's always been ripped. Don't get me wrong. He looks insane right now. Like, he looks insane.
They put something special in the Coney Island hot dogs this year.
I mean, him and Weidman. I mean, Weidman's getting that leg right. Aljo getting those abs right. Yeah, man. I think you're getting a gift here, man. I really do. Minus 250 on Aljo against fucking Sean O'Malley. Like, we've seen these guys fight. We've seen Sean O'Malley literally getting pieced up by Pedro Munhoz till he poked him in the eye. We all know who won the Peter Yan fight. Another situation of, the big underdog looked okay, and some people actually think he won the fight against Peter Yan. Come on, man. This is just a different level. Peter Yan was a different level. We saw it. I think Pedro Munhoz was a different level. We saw it early in that fight. This is just a way different level. Aljo, like, big for me. I love him in the spot. One of my favorite spots of the entire year by far.
Yeah, it's Aljo. Peter Yan could grapple O'Malley whenever he wanted. And there was one fight where Aljo got out grappled against Yan because it was a whole bunch of like weird takedowns that he wasn't really prepared for. I don't really think that O'Malley's got that in his arsenal. I think Aljo's going to come out. He's going to come forward. He's going to get a hold of him. And it's going to be like, he has done some bad things to some guys who are a whole lot better grapplers than Sean O'Malley. When he gets his hands on him, I think it's going to be pretty nasty. Aljo here. And if it does stay on the feet for a while, I don't think it's a blowout. People are like, oh yeah,
those legs,
O'Malley's going to kill him. Like,
those legs.
Aljo kicks. That's like all he does on the feet. He's just going to kick his legs, and that's going to make the takedown even easier when he eventually goes for it. So, yeah, I just don't see how Aljo loses this fight unless he decides to go insane between now and the start of the fight and not do any of the things that he says he's going to do.
It's literally got to be Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo. It's how it's got to be. And one dude doesn't have that left, and one dude has like a way better fucking chin than Aldo did at that point. That's the only way I see it. Like, what else? How else does O'Malley win this fight if it's not some flash?
If somehow he survives, and Aljo somehow gasses.
The Aljo don't gas.
I think he learned his lesson in the first Peter Yan fight. Like, he can't do that. And that was against Peter Yan, where he's struggled to get takedowns. He's going to get takedowns, and that's going to help the cardio a fuck ton.
The way people talk about that fight, like, obviously, it was very much turning towards Yan, but it was 2-1 Aljo at that point in the fight when like, oh, Jan's taking over. He won the 3rd round. He's gonna kill him.
As we've seen in the second fight, Aljo could have just fell into a body lock and held round 5 and would have won that fight in hindsight.
Yeah, it's and he just fought Henry Cejudo for 5 rounds. O'Malley, has he been 5 rounds?
We're talking about Peter Yan and Henry Cejudo as opponents, and O'Malley. Look who we're talking about. Dudes that were
Peter
arguably,
Yan, but he lost to him.
dudes that were arguably beating his ass. Well, hell, Peter Yan, I don't even know if it's an argument to most people. Pedro Munhoz, the 2 dudes he stepped up and fought. He thoroughly was losing fights, in my opinion.
And Vera back in the day.
Yeah,
that was early for O'Malley. I don't hold that against him. He
but
stepped up
and
against a tough
the
guy
thing is, none of these guys
career.
are real grapplers. Like he hasn't fought anybody that's game plan is to take him down.
And I think those look better for Sterling because you know, the leg kicks show you a path on the feet that's happened, and a dude that's not a grappler and Peter Yan could get takedowns on him whenever he wanted. So it's like 2 fights there that show you paths for Aljo. That's, I don't know how you don't like him in this fight at that kind of price. I really don't.
He's down to, is it still, it's minus 230 now, Shaun. It's even lower.
I think O'Malley money's gonna come in. I think
crazy.
it is.
I should wait. It's just like my brain sees it and it's like, oh
yeah,
like that's already a good price.
I do think he's at a point like he's not Connor, but I think he's at a point to where he has a following of younger fans and viewers of other things he does that do bet now too. Like there is a lot of younger betting out there, and I think they're gonna come in on O'Malley.
Probably. Legal betting is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it puts a lot of more squares in the betting pool. That's for fucking sure. Not saying I'm pretty much an MMA square at this point, but you know.
Been there. I'm coming back. Coming back to the other side.
We're gonna get a chunk back this weekend, boys. It's gonna happen. Oh, and give out our.
Speaking of a chunk back, consensus bet of the week is going to be the chalkiest chalk that ever chalked. Luque would be proud of us. We're going to parlay Aljo and Weili. It's like minus 115, Shaun?
Minus 120 at old Bet Online.
Minus 115 at MGM, which a lot of people have.
You're in that range.
Some other places like that. So, yeah, you're good. We'll lay a little juice on those two. That's going to be fun. We've had fun this evening, but it's been 93 minutes almost. So I think we should probably get out of here. We'll be back if there's a card. If not,
there is. See the Korean Zombie get retired.
Oh, it's 8 in the morning.
Bad note
In the morning.
That's his life.